for a year?
August.
Until August, okay, for the summer. And then Zach Robbins now also in, I'm thinking you're Baltimore area though. Are you? You're DC too, okay.
We live in the same
So
town.
2 DC guys rooming together, I forgot that. Yeah, 2 DC guys and working men in Washington DC. We're getting closer and closer and closer to the seat of influence, so this is a good thing. So we'll keep you there, that's great. Yeah, so we're gonna expect you to do something pretty soon. Okay. We'll chat about that later. But anyway, so Matt and Zach had given me to listen. Thanks guys for being here.
So I'm actually eligible for president in 10 years, so I don't know if that's soon, but I'm Matt Pitchford. I interned in 2007, and it was life-changing. It was honestly one of the things that defined in part who I was in college, who I am today. It challenged me in ways I'd never been challenged before. I got to travel, see new things, meet a lot of people, and I learned a lot about myself, about friendship and community and communication. And so as I ended the internship and went to college in Oregon at Willamette University, small liberal arts school, 1,800 students, I learned a lot about what communication looks like as you're transferring from a style where you have 10 minutes to give a presentation on a subject of your choice, and people are stuck in a room listening to you, for better or for worse, because there you don't have time limits, and people don't have to listen to you in the same way. I did give presentations. I gave short speeches. I would introduce people every once in a while and practice some of my platform communication there, but I found that the most important kind of communication that I was doing at Willamette University was in conversations. It was the times when I was interacting with people one-on-one. Certainly, like I made tons of friends. I actually got really good at ping pong, and so some of my friends and I would play ping pong, and that is an experience that I will always treasure. But some of the more significant times were when I was interacting with people in a way that was challenging to both of us. My sophomore year, I started a Bible study with my roommate in our dorm. Willamette University is not a Christian school, and so the Christian community is small but fairly tight-knit because of it. And so we went around and knocked on everyone's door in the dorm and invited people to a Bible study, which is more challenging than it may sound because you are identifying yourself very visibly. And so we did that, and there's one girl who came to the first Bible study. Her name was Em. And Em came to the Bible study and was like, actually, this is not what I thought it was going to be at all. I was like, well, okay, so maybe we can talk some other time. She's like, yeah, sure, we'll talk. She grew up Christian and had some poor experiences with Christianity and ended up walking away from her faith. And over a period of 2 years, Em and another person who had a similar story, Paul, Paul and I met almost weekly. Being at college, it was often late at night, often short, but we would always have an interesting conversation where the biggest thing that I learned is that I don't have all of the answers at all. It wasn't smooth, it wasn't practiced, it wasn't comfortable. There were no time limits. Sometimes it went short, sometimes it went long. But the significant thing was that we were always able to have a conversation that incorporated some important elements. I always tried to be authentic, to be real, to be honest about something I didn't know or about something that I didn't think was true. I always tried to demonstrate that I cared about them in a real way. Not just in a way like I'm trying to get something out of you or I'm trying to be the means of your conversion. I'm trying to get to know you. And over the period of those 2 years, I mean, I still keep up with them in very different spots. And it's good, though. It's very good. Em recently called me, actually, because I graduated and she had transferred. She said, hey, Matt, I just want to let you know. I don't know about this whole Jesus thing, but I'll tell you what, I think there is a God. All right, we should talk about this more. And so we would read books together. We read Blue Like Jazz. some other like source materials as a way to continue that conversation. So really the point is that the thing that really clicks for me, having graduated college, having done an internship with ICC, the thing that I learned is that communication, caring, and conversation, authenticity, these are some of the most important things that you can ever walk away from in your life, because they are going to be a means of actually getting to know people in a way that's significant, meaningful, both now and actually eternally. So.
Hi everyone, I'm Zach Robbins, and I also interned in 2007 with my buddy Matt. We are now living in the same room together, so that's really cool for me 5 years later to finally be back in such close living quarters as we were on tour in a motorhome with 15 people. So there was a lot of bonding that happened, and Matt and I are close friends, and I have a lot of close friends as a result of coming up through ICC, and not only just the people that I intern with, but also students that I'm now seeing that are interning and that are coming up through the RSA program. It's really cool to see, oh, I went to your first conference, or you were at my first conference when I was interning, and so I had that experience when I was 12 and 13 years old, and now to see it, full circle is really cool. So I want to share with you I think one of the biggest things that has impacted me, and as I see coming out as an alumni now, having come up through ICC, interned, graduated from college, and now having a job, what is the most impactful thing to me, as well as it connects to the brand story, which I was talking about this morning, and the differentiator. So most of the world trains kids and students and youth, our next generation, that life doesn't start until after you graduate college, or life doesn't start until you get a job, and that's when real life begins. And so everything is all about preparation. It's all about teaching. It's all about read a book, read about this experience, but don't experience it, just read about it. Don't go out and do anything, because you're going to do that eventually. You need to prepare for that. It's all about preparation. So school, even when you get to college, and I saw this especially in college, was that it's a very selfish environment. It's all inward focused. It's not about other people, it's about your GPA, it's about your tests. Oh, my friend's having a personal issue, it's okay, I can't deal with that right now because I have a final exam to worry about. It's all about you. And it's all about preparing yourself for this dream that's been set up in society of the American dream, which is I'm going to get a job, I'm going to have a family, I'm going to have a house, and that's all that life is about. And that's very much about you. And it's also very much about preparing for those things. And I have a lot of friends now that had that mindset and that are now out of college, and it's like, well, this kind of stinks. Life wasn't really all that it was cracked up to be, because the entire time you spent anticipating this great thing that was going to come was already happening before them in front of their eyes. Their life was happening in front of them, and they were just letting it pass them by because they thought, oh, it will happen one day, and that I don't have to worry about any of this stuff until I get to point A. And there is no point A. There's no time where you realize that life begins, because life is always happening. And that's the thing that differentiates ICC, is they realize that life is happening for the next generation, for youth, and it's really fun to say that now because I understand parents' perspective a little bit better, and I can go to my mom and say, you're right. And one day your kids will someday say that to you, but maybe not now. But to say that, actually forcing me to have hard conversations, forcing me to go out and do things, and so that's what ICC is about. It's about the community. It's about making a difference right now, and not just preparing for something that is not necessarily going to come. That life is happening now for youth. And so one of the best examples of that is chapters and what chapters are doing. And I didn't have the privilege to be a part of a chapter and have a lot of those activities to be involved in and things forcing me to go out in the community and make a difference. But now that's a big part of who ICC is, and I think one of the most compelling pieces of it. So other kids at 15 and 16 are worried about getting their driver's license, whereas kids in ICC are worried about raising money to free slaves in Africa. Like, how big of a gap is that? And that is what's so cool to me, is that your kids that are involved in this program and all these programs are worried about things that are much greater than themselves. It's outward focus. It's not about them. It's not about their tests. It's not about their GPA. It's not about the job that I can get when I graduate college. It's about other people. And that's the message that I think that I've gained so much from and see now working and see in other people and the way that they approach life and the way that the kids in ICC approach life. And there's a big gap, and there's a lot to be appreciative for, and I'm very appreciative for it. And I encourage you to keep your kids involved and to hopefully get other kids involved, because it makes a huge difference. Thanks.